Hello guys and welcome to Facebook Live for the 15 Red podcast. It is Monday night, the 8th of March 2021. Coming up to my birthday, by the way, in 12 days' time. Just to let you know that, guys. You know all these all these snooker players we've been mentioning, I better get mine in there. You know what I mean? Anyway, this is the 15 Red podcast. I'm in Burton-on-Trent, just gone 6 o'clock, and we're joined by Scott, who's in Antigua in Northern Ireland. Good evening, Scott.
Very good evening to you, Graham. Nice to be with you once again.
I hope you're well.
Very well indeed, thank you.
Good stuff. And Mike in Vancouver. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, gentlemen. What's going on?
Good morning, Mike.
Just a quick one about last night. Judd Trump, way too good for Jack Ledowski last night. Too strong.
Tremendous.
It looks like he's in his old ways, heading into the World Championships.
That's how many times now, Scott, has he won Gibraltar Open?
The last 2 seasons, the last 2 years.
Excellent stuff. That's a fantastic achievement for Scott. Unfortunately, for Judd, sorry. Unfortunately for Jack, just was never in the game, was he? So,
no.
Unfortunately, so. So, Mike's got some quick news before we get our first guest on.
Yes, we have Hazel Irving confirming that she will be doing the presentation at the World Championships.
That's good news.
Came out this morning, so that's very good news.
Well, in this world of what we're going through at the minute, that brings a bit of normality back to the BBC, doesn't it?
Yes.
Any thoughts on that, Scott?
Well, as someone who met her back in 2012 when I was at Crucible, she was absolutely marvellous then, and she's absolutely marvellous now, so it'll be good to have her back.
She was. She is marvellous. I have met her, of course, the wonderful Hazel Irvine, and I had a nice picture with her and everything like that. Yes, that was in 2018, that was. The year I went, yeah. And the year I met Stephen Hendry as well.
Yep.
It was good times, that was. And also Ronnie O'Sullivan. It was the funny thing about Ronnie was the guy was waiting for, he said, oh, he's in a Mercedes. I know he's in a Mercedes. So he's like, oh, okay. So we were waiting for this Mercedes to turn up. All of a sudden, there he is, come out of a crowd of people, go straight to the stage door, without all like, Ronnie, and he just goes in, and that's it. You never see him for dust. Go on. Very clever. Good to say. Very clever.
Getting snooker, maybe.
You want to say?
Getting out of a snooker, I guess.
Oh, I love the way you put that, Mike. That was great.
Yeah.
Right there, the world of good. So we're going to get our first guest on tonight, and our first guest this evening is the Welshman, the former Welsh tour professional, Gareth Allen. So we'll just get him to join now.
Fantastic.
And we're gonna fire some questions at him, but like we say, he's not too taxing or anything like that.
No, we won't bite him.
No, we won't. So here we go. Gareth is hopefully making his way to us now.
Before Gareth comes on, we'll just talk about the ladies that have gotten tour cards, of course.
Yes, that was also, this is like a follow-up from yesterday's item about Rhiannon Evans expressing some frustration about not playing anymore. So today it was learned that the World Snooker Tour offered Rhiannon Evans and Eng Oyi professional tour cards.
Yes.
Gives them an opportunity to at least get some matches in and some I guess there'll be ranking events as well that they can play.
Of course.
Yeah.
Professional awards, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's right. The announcement forms part of a wider commitment with today's reinforces the role of the Women's World Snooker Tour as a major development tour. So it's it's a league pathway into addition to 2 tour cards.
Yeah. Marvellous news.
Very good.
And then I've got some news just on Mark Allen because obviously we'll have Gareth on the moment, hopefully, but Mark Allen has withdrawn from this week's Pro Series tournament in order just to focus on his campaign for the World Championship coming up.
Yeah, I think that's a good move by him. That tournament doesn't really do anything for him. Just take a little bit of a breather and get some practice time in and stuff. And we expect to see him at the World Championships in fine form.
Yeah, indeed.
Like a lot of people were saying that he's, like, has he got a chance of winning it or not? That's the thing. That's what we was on about. Anyway, we're joined during our discussion there with Gareth Allen. Good evening, Gareth.
Evening, lads. How you doing?
Not too bad.
Very well, thank you. Very well indeed.
Good, good.
How's everything for you at the moment in the lockdown, the current situation? Has it been kind to you so far?
Mixed, really. It's been kind to me. My partner's currently got long COVID, so she's not too well with it.
Oh dear, sorry to hear that one.
That's all right. But yeah, pushing through. Bored as everyone else is, but what can you do?
It's difficult. It's a difficult time. It's affected your job.
Not at the moment. We're having periods of furlough.
Yeah.
And I'm currently studying an apprenticeship with Airbus. So I'm doing one college day a week, which is currently being done like this at home over a video link and stuff with tutors. So it's working, but yeah, as anything, tough, massive job cuts in the aviation industry, as you can expect, with no travel. But yeah, I'm still there at the moment.
Yeah. I'll just introduce you to the gang. We've got Mike from Vancouver, who's in the top. I don't know if he's in your top right corner there.
Yep.
He's in the bottom.
That's Mike. And we've got Scott in Ireland, Anti-Garvin. I think he must be in the top corner.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been doing this 50 Red podcast now for about 2 to 3 weeks, and we're fairly new. And yeah, it's amazing actually how we've got our first guests on. We've got your mate Jamie Barrett on Friday.
Yeah, I was speaking to Jamie earlier.
Yeah, he's a good lad. He's a good lad.
Yeah, top bloke, Jamie. The JCB.
Yeah. He says that you work in Boeing's.
No, not Boeing. No. Airbus.
Oh, right, Airbus. He said he wouldn't trust you were making a paper airplane.
No, I wouldn't either, to be honest.
You can rib him about that later, don't we?
Yeah.
So I'm going to hand you over to Mike, who's got a few questions for you to start off with.
Okay.
Yeah. So what really got you interested in snooker? Where did it all start for you?
It started when I was 3 years old. My granddad has always been a massive snooker fan all his life. He's played, God, he's 70 odd now. He's probably played for 50, 60 years. Okay. Just amateur level. He's never really. I think his ice break's 56 or something like that. So he's never played to a high standard. But he's just always had a massive interest in snooker, and I used to sit watching it with him when I was young, from as early as 2, really. And then I used to get like marbles on a pencil on the floor, by trying to copy what was happening on television. And then he decided to get me a little snooker table, 4-foot one, when I was 3 years old for my 3rd birthday.
Oh, fantastic.
He had to cut the legs down on it so I could reach it properly as well. That's when it all started. That's when it all started, really. So yeah. 30 years ago.
Wow.
Great.
I wasn't going to get into how old you were at all. I wasn't going there.
Yeah, you probably see the greys coming on the side here now.
Yeah, I think it's
snooker's caused that, I think.
Snooker stress.
Yeah. But Gareth, Scott here in Northern Ireland, but just to ask you, who were your snooker idols growing up, when you were watching it on the telly? Who were your favourite players?
Stephen Hendry was the one that would stick in my mind from when I was younger, because he was literally winning everything, I think, back in the early 90s there. So yeah, I literally he was the only person that was really on telly at that moment in time, winning everything with a trophy in his hand at most tournaments. So Stephen Hendry was the main one. Obviously, you had young Ronnie O'Sullivan burst on the scene then.
Yeah.
Towards the getting towards the mid-90s then, so young exciting player coming through. I followed his career then.
And still doing it at 45 years of age, of course.
Yeah, he's not doing too bad, is he? For an old
No.
geezer.
He's just an awesome player, really. Just one of them standard. But what do you make of Stephen Hendry's comeback?
I was a bit shocked, to be honest, when he first announced the news, and then obviously you're expecting him to take up his tour card and play all season, but obviously he's only played the first tournament now last week in the Gibraltar Open, which is a bit strange, and he entered a few tournaments and then withdrew. Obviously he knows the reasons behind that. I don't know if he didn't think he was ready to start playing again. Obviously he made a century, so he must be playing okay. You don't just come back into a match situation and make a century on the TV table when there's a bit of pressure on you if you're not playing okay. So yeah, hopefully, I think he's got a 2-year tour card, hasn't he? So hopefully we'll see him a lot more next season and see what he can do. I imagine he'll win a few games, yeah. But I don't know whether we get to the heights of his early days. He's left it a bit late now, I think, with only one season, a 2-year tour card. Sorry, what was that?
He is 52 now, so...
Yeah, I mean, you can obviously play on the seniors tour as well to get a bit of more match practice. He's probably got that advantage over some of the other younger players as well. So
now, your nickname, Gareth, is G-Force. How did that come about?
I think it's just a few mates years ago taking the mick out of me. I bought an Astra VXR sports car when I was dead young. Used to zoom about in that, and I think one of the mates just called me G-Force one day just for a laugh because of that. Because I used to love, I've always been into my cars, so I think he just called me G-Force, and it never stuck. He just used to call it me. It was only him that really called it me, really. And then one day I was at the Welsh Open when I qualified to play. John Higgins made my arena debut. My first game on TV, and Rob Walker was the MC and he was doing the introductions, and I was down there with one of my other mates as well, and he goes, "Hey guys, have you got a nickname?" I was like, "No, not really, no. No one really gives me a nickname." And then my mate pops up and goes, "Oh yeah, some other lads calls him G-Force." And that was it then. Rob Walker made it stick, so I've got to thank him for that one, really.
Oh dear. Good man, Rod Walker.
Yeah. It's never gone away since, and I think World Snooker then took it on. Always got called G-Force in news articles and when I've been referenced and things like that. So it just stuck from there on. Yeah.
What was it like going out there to play that first match against John Higgins? Because you're in awe of John Higgins for a start. And you think,
he's another legend of the game, isn't he? And it was a great experience to go and play him. I just had it in my mind that I wasn't expecting to do anything, just to go out there and enjoy it, and hopefully it'll give me a taste to kick on and to qualify for the main tour and try and make that situation a more regular occurrence, really. But yeah, it was a great experience. Obviously a few nerves before and a few butterflies before you go into the arena. Getting introduced at my home event, the Welsh Open, in front of, I think probably could have been 1,000 people in the crowd. I'm not sure. Is it the Newport Centre?
Yeah.
It was packed in there because Mark Williams was playing on the other table, so it was, it was full. But yeah, great experience. One I'll never forget.
And the fans in Wales have always been very good. I remember when the beast from the East came in 2018. There were still 100 people that came to Cardiff to watch the Welsh Open, despite it was snow and a blizzard outside, but still 150, 200 folks still turned up.
Yeah, so the Welsh events have always been really well supported with the crowds. Even when it's moved to the Motor Point Arena in Cardiff, when I played there, even the back tables have always had a fair few people watching them. And then there's probably about 20 odd people watching my game at the Motor Point Arena last time I played there. mean, I was playing, I think one of the Chinese boys, I think it was. I think it was Wang Yuchen, and we were like on one of the furthest back tables, and there was still probably about 20 people watching us. Like, and I think Ronnie was on that day as well, maybe at the same time, you know. So I thought it was a bit strange they were watching me, like, but never mind.
Who was your main friends on the tour when you was on it, when you was on the circuit?
So my best friend on the tour is Dwayne Jones. We've been amateurs together, and then we turned professional at the same Q School event as well. But we've always travelled together, roomed together for 10 years, playing for Wales abroad, and you know, he's always come up to mine. And my partner Paige, she went to the university in Cardiff, so her second year in university, she lived in a house with other housemates that were students with her. And I basically lived down there for the second year on tour, playing with Dwayne every day down at his club in Trekennydd. So, yeah, you couldn't separate us at one point.
I like Dwayne Jones as a player. He was very good when he got that. Wasn't the semi-final in Germany? He got he played well that week.
Yeah, see, he's got it in there. He's got the ability. I've seen it in practice and throughout other tournaments and stuff we've played in where he's played well. He's definitely got the ability. It's just sometimes hard for the lower ranked pros to come through and break into that top 64.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you what it was like down at youth school level, like the amateur level. What's it actually like? How hard is it for you guys? Because I don't think you get like the treatment as the big guys get. What is it? How difficult is it to break through?
Yeah, it's pretty hard. I mean, there's a lot. You're restricted in the ways that you can qualify for the tour, and most of them now are directed straight through Q School. World Snooker used to give tour cards for the top ranked player in each home nation years ago. So the number one amateur in Wales would turn pro, number one amateur in Ireland and Scotland, and they turn pro. But they took that away from the home nation national governing bodies, and they give them tour card. They give them free Q School entries instead of tour cards. So. All right, yeah, you saved £1,000, but you didn't get your tour card, and you still had to go through Q School and play 200 other people and best of sevens. They were all very good players and ex-pros, so it's very tough. Q School it's brutal, isn't it? It's best of sevens, 200 people there, all playing for 8 or 12 spots, depending on how many events there are. No prize money, and you pay now £600 to £1,000 entry fee. That's before you've even got your expenses of hotels and travel costs, food and that while you're over there. So, you know, it all adds up. Q School's probably not far off £1,500, £2,000 event when you weigh everything up.
It is a brutal system, Q School, but there's some very good players. I mean, I remember they did the feature on it during the World Championship, and Leo Scullion, he was the tournament director, you know, the year that was passed. And he said it's brutal because you're playing from 9 o'clock in the morning until 2 or 3 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah, that's for the officials, but when you're actually playing matches, the most matches you'll play in a day at Q School is probably, I imagine, 2. You might play once in the morning, have a break for a couple of sessions, and then play again in the evening. But still, playing 2 best of sevens in a day, especially if there's a lot riding on it and you're playing a good player and it can go 4-3, it can take it out of you. So, it is a very, very tough tournament. I was just glad to get through that one time because I had many more goes at it from the years previous, and it was not easy.
And the other thing is, yeah, exactly, because Jamie Barrett was on about, we talked to him on Friday about it, but he was on about, because he's a single father, he finds it hard to practice or get time to practice. And then he's thrown into these tournaments just to play, because he hasn't got a world ranking at the moment, and he just got thrown into Gibraltar's Open, didn't he, the other week?
Yeah.
Did you find it difficult to find time to practice, with work as well? Because I suppose you were working as well.
Yeah, because I didn't, to be fair. I was lucky. I was working. When I made my TV debut in 2013, I think it was. I was only working part time because I had one eye on snooker and I wanted to put a bit more time into practicing. And then after that, I made a decision with family support, and luckily I got a sponsor, which was Chris Juar from Singapore Eden Resources. Luckily, I had the opportunity to quit my job and play full time with the help of family and Chris. So I did that. So, and I don't think I would have probably turned professional if I didn't do that, because I was noticing people that were playing full time, you could see the improvements in them. They were starting to, I don't know, some of them were like catching me up that I knew I was better than, and I was thinking I need to do a bit more here. And I've seen people that were getting onto the tour thinking I need to be doing this full time because they are, and I want to be competing. So luckily I had the opportunity to do that. So I didn't. Work wasn't in the way. Snooker was my work, and it was for probably, I think it was 7 years that I did it full time in the end, until I came off the tour, and then I just decided not to try again.
Fair enough. Okay.
So if you had some advice for the youngsters to get involved in this, what words of wisdom would you give them?
Just dedication, hard work. You won't get anywhere in this game without doing that. And I've seen that, and I've been there. You won't get anywhere. You can probably play to a certain level not practicing, but to get onto the tour and to keep competing, you need to be properly in the zone with it.
Yeah. Did you have any interaction with Chris Henry at all, the super coach, when you went?
No, I know Chris. I've known Chris years from playing in PTCs and having a few conversations with him, but I've never worked with Chris. I know a few people that have worked with Chris, and they say how good he is as a coach, like mentally as well as helping the snooker side of things. I had my own coach. His name's Craig Harrison. He's from St Helens. He was professional back in the day, in the 90s. He played on TV a few times, I think. I think he played Mark Williams on TV once when he qualified for a venue. He's got massive knowledge of the game, and it was only an hour's drive, if that, away from me. So I went there from quite a young age, and he taught me a hell of a lot. So I owe quite a lot to him as well. The way I improved and eventually got on the tour, because I probably wouldn't have done it without him.
And do you think now, Gareth, do you think that young players coming through, because I know Ronnie made some comments at the World Championship, but do you think that young players coming through appreciate the hard work that's necessary, or do they appreciate it's very difficult to live?
I'm sure. I mean, I've seen the work ethic of the Chinese lads that come over. They're playing 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, probably. I mean, people from this side of the world, in this country, I'm not sure if they're putting that much time in.
No.
But it's probably going to be a case of they're going to have to keep up with them, because there's so many good ones now coming through that are young. I remember I played Yambing Tao in India when he was 14, and he beat me 5-3 in India at the World Amateur Championships. And the game he had for 14 was incredible. I said straight away after I played him, I said, if he doesn't get to the top, then there's something wrong. Because his game was so mature, 14. He's playing safeties and putting me in all sorts of bother. I'm thinking, you just shouldn't have that game at 14 years old. So he's obviously been putting the hours in instead of going to school or something. I played well in that game as well. I think I had 130 odd and a couple of other breaks on Indian TV. Don't think I could have played any better, and he beat me 5-3. I was 14-year-old, I was thinking, what's going on here?
It's stunning when it happens like that, and you can do everything. You can throw the kitchen sink and still get beat.
Yeah.
14-year-old school kid from China. I've took the kitchen sink out. I've played really well myself, like, and I've still come off and got beat. I just scratched my head.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Do you regret coming off the tour at all?
I don't, to be honest. Though people still ask me that question now. Like even some of the lads in work, when I'm in there, they're saying, "Did you miss it? Do you want to go back on a tour?" And I don't know. So I've bought my own house now and things like that, and snooker's not going to pay for that in the lower ranks, I don't think. So I've got other commitments and stuff now, and I'm happy. So no pressure, no pressures of snooker trying to scratch around, trying to earn a couple of quid.
So what takes up your time now? What is your current?
I'm currently studying all my aeronautical engineering qualifications through the apprenticeship. So I've had quite a bit of work to do with that. And it's probably going to be doing the back garden soon.
do you still play snooker? Do you still have a hand in snooker though? And
I haven't played for the past year. Obviously with lockdown and whatever. Bought my house last March, about nearly a year ago now, and literally renovated the whole place. So not even had time to think about going for a game of snooker at the parents' house or anything. Plus, you're not even allowed with COVID restrictions anyway. So I've got no access to a table at the moment.
Mike had an interesting topic question from one of our listeners about fading away of snooker, Mike, wasn't it?
Yeah, when we first started, we had to ask a question about what reasons do you think snooker is fading out in the UK, and what can be done to make it attractive again? Curious to know your thoughts on that.
I don't even know if you can jazz snooker up these days. I mean, you've got the shootout, which is obviously more of an appealing format of snooker to your usual be quiet and serious serious game that it is. Yeah. I see Barry Earns tried potentially doing it a bit more that way, but it's the facilities in this country. I mean, you've got the new academies that are opening in Sheffield. Ding's got one now, and there's the Star one. Unfortunately, the South West Snooker Academy in Gloucester closed down, which was really good when it opened, when Paul Mount opened that. But yeah, it's the facilities. I mean, the snooker club that I grew up in when I was younger and played in, that's now flats. It got knocked down and closed down just because the owner was basically greedy.
Wow.
Yes,
that was unfortunate. But yeah, a lot of the snooker clubs, social clubs, and that are closing down. And obviously, COVID's not helped that situation whatsoever.
No, not at
they're
all.
suffering, aren't they? And of course, because table time as well, people pay for like 50 pence and an hour, 50 pence for an hour. So at some club, it's £6 for an hour, and it's crazy talk. You don't get hardly many people going in the door.
Yeah. Again, like to recover a table in a club cloth, you're probably still talking £300-400, and if people are serious about snooker, they don't want to be going into clubs that are playing on tables that aren't very good. But then you're still paying a premium to play on them, so people are probably refusing that way as well. But some clubs just can't afford to get them done.
What do you think from a technical point of view, Green, the main differences between professional cloths and club cloths?
They're a lot thinner, quicker, more responsive. Club cloths tend to be obviously a bit thicker and slower, and a little bit heavier, so you tend to have to hit the ball harder, and that obviously affects like your cue action and things like that. You start snatching balls, hitting them harder. That can obviously cause you to miss pots. So if you can learn to play on a faster cloth, generally it is better for your game if you learn how to play on it, like your technique.
So how do you adapt then? When you've gone for the club and you go to the Q school or the qualifiers and you play your first match, how did you adapt to the table?
Luckily, I had my own table at home at the parents' house, so my table was exactly the same as a professional table. So to switch from one table to the other, it was no difference really. I did the big lights. Yeah, so a lot of the professionals, I'd say probably 99% of them will have their own table that's of professional standard.
Yeah.
So from them to go to a practice table to the match table, it generally isn't a big jump unless you're playing on a TV table, which plays completely different again, as I found out.
How much different?
Quite a lot different. I mean, the lights are quite a lot brighter. The table's a lot more responsive and it's like more slippy and slidey off the cushions. And of course, the arena, you have big, wide open space in the match table arena.
Yeah.
Rather than like a little smaller cubicle. It does take a little bit of getting used to. I found that after a few goes of playing on TV, I adjusted better. But like the first couple of times, I was just like a fish out of water on there.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, well, the tighter pockets. How much tighter are them middle pockets to a club table or to a...
Yeah, the templated pockets to the match template that World Snooker have, they are quite a lot tighter. Yeah, normal club tables like you play on when you play in the local leagues, you can hit balls in down cushions quite hard, and they're okay, but you can't really do that on match tables. But I've noticed that the tables on the telly look like they're playing a bit bigger than what they used to. Yeah. Certainly look bigger than the pockets that are on mine.
Gareth, we wanted to ask a question. Do you think the standard without crowds this season has been better than it was with crowds?
Hard to say, really. I mean, if you look at Joe Trump, you must like playing without crowds because he's winning everything at the moment.
Yeah.
But I suppose if you've got a player that's with less experience coming into an arena, usually big arena with like say 500 people there, they're going to feel it a little bit daunting if they're not used to it. But with no one there and a couple of cameras, that's just like playing on the back table, really. All right, you might have to adjust to the speed of the table a little bit more, but that can work in the lower rank players' favour if they're not used to playing in front of big crowds.
I mean, look at the player from my part of the world, from Northern Ireland, Jordan Brown, and what he did at the Welsh Open.
Yeah, fantastic.
Would he have done that with a crowd, do you think? Hard to say, I know, but...
Yeah, well, he was playing Ronnie, and no matter who you are, where you're from, even in your own country, if you were playing Ronnie in your own country, they would still be cheering for Ronnie, probably.
Yeah.
So Ronnie had probably got a lot more crowd support at that time, and Ronnie's used to playing in front of big crowds, so who's to say it didn't have an effect on the game? It could have done.
Do you think that Ronnie was under pressure in that final?
Yeah, I think he was under pressure. He was expected to win, like you'd probably say, like 9-3 or something like that on paper.
Well, he might have put himself under pressure like he did against John Higgins. Yeah,
potentially. You'd have expected Ronnie to win, and I think everyone was expecting Ronnie to win quite comfortably, especially with it being a final and Jordan's not been in a final before. But obviously, Jordan's mentality is obviously very, very good. And I think Ronnie was probably a little bit startled by that at the start because Jordan got off to a really good start.
We did.
So it probably startled Ronnie a little bit, I think.
What do you think's wrong with Ronnie at the moment? 4-0 in finals, in defeat. Why do you think the reason for that is?
I don't know. He probably thought in his head that was the one to get him back going winning tournaments again. But obviously that one, and then obviously John Higgins played unbelievable. So
yeah,
I don't know. He'll win another one soon, I think. It's probably just a bit of confidence, maybe. He doesn't really lack confidence.
Possibly.
Sorry?
World title number 7, do you think?
Hey, potentially. He might be saving his best form till last.
Yeah.
That's what Mike thinks. Mike said he's
I've been-
gearing up for this one tournament.
Big practice session for him.
Yeah, you can never write him off, can you? I imagine Judd will be favourite for the title.
Yeah.
Do you know Ronnie? Did you ever know him on the tour?
No, I've never really spoke to Ronnie. He always keeps himself to himself at tournaments and out the way. And in China, he's got a big entourage and stays in a different hotel to everyone else because he just gets mobbed. Even when I played him in China, I didn't speak to him after the game or anything like that. He just whisked away to do media interviews and stuff, and then he gets whisked out the venue again out the back door. So,
so what would you say is the highlight of in your career of snooker?
Qualifying for the main tour and having 2 years playing that, playing like some of the best players in the world that have ever played the game. I played Ronnie in China in front of a full house, which was, I'd probably say that's my best ever experience in snooker because he's the greatest of all time. And to say you've played him on one of the main stages, live on TV, not many can say that.
And you know how hard it is personally. How hard you work and that. But someone like Ronnie O'Sullivan, Judd Trump, to keep the standard that they keep constantly is, you must think that's something, to keep doing that.
Yeah, you'd think you'd take their foot off the pedal a little bit. You've got all this money in the world now. They're comfortable with money and find the game easy. And you'd think they'd take the foot off a little bit, but they just seem to it's just relentless. Especially Judd at the moment. Yeah. Every tournament he plays in, you just think he's just going to win it.
Higgins, of course, John Higgins, how good he was at Gibraltar.
The Players' Championship, you mean?
Yeah. He was absolutely astonishing, wasn't he?
Yeah, some of the best snooker he's ever played, and that's saying something for John because he's played some fantastic snooker over the years, and against me twice.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you restrict Mark Selby to 7 points? That is just.
You've got to be playing well to do that.
I mean, I think I said this on the podcast after the tournaments when we discussed it, Gareth. I think the Welsh Open, the Players' Championship, are 2 of the greatest tournament wins we've ever seen. Jordan Brown, because he was the unexpected, 750 to 1 outsider, and then John Higgins just playing. Ronnie described it as evil snooker. It was superb.
Yeah, it's again. John Higgins is one of the greatest players that's played the game, and for him to still be doing that now, he's into his 40s as well. All these players in their 40s just seem to be getting better. So I might get my cue back out in 10 years.
Get to come.
Do it, Gareth. Do it.
I might make a comeback in 10 years and see what happens.
You've heard it.
Stephen Andrews doing it.
Yeah, he's even a bit later. He'll probably win the world, Steve, if he's 50. He's going.
By the way, I've just got another topic question for you. Do you think, because Neil Foldsey was on about it the other day, saying that Mark Allen might have been with a shot at winning the World Championship, do you think that's a possibility?
Yeah, great player, Mark. He obviously won tournaments before, so he's not shy of winning. It's long format. If you play well for long enough, for a long period of time, I wouldn't say he wouldn't be able to win it. But why not?
Okay. Only one semi-final though, which was 2009. So his record's not great, but he could win it based on ability.
Yeah, ability. Won tournaments before against the top players. He is one of the top players. It's like Ding as well. You could say Ding should have probably won it by now. Probably, I'd say Mark is probably up there with Ding in that category.
Do you think Ding is falling away at the moment in his previous results?
Yeah, he's been a bit quiet, hasn't he? I'd probably say Mark's been a bit quiet as well.
Yeah.
I'd probably put them two in the same category again. But I mean, class is permanent. These players are class, and I have got no doubt that they'll be winning tournaments again soon. They're too good not to.
Who's impressed you outside of the top 32? Who's the one that's shining through for you at the moment?
Of all my friends, the MOD, Martin O'Donnell.
Yes.
For the past couple of seasons, he's steady getting up into the top 40, top 32, up to that area. And you've also got Scott Donaldson as well.
Yes.
Very good player.
Who's climbed right up the rankings. I was looking at him the other day. I didn't know he was that far up the rankings. I know he'd had a couple of good seasons, getting to like quarters and semi-finals.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say probably them two players for me. From climbing up lower down the rankings, yeah.
And another player that's really impressed is Matthew Sell.
Yeah, Matt Seltz. He's been playing well recently. Obviously, he got to the semi-finals yesterday. I think he's been a bit quiet as well, but he won the tournament in India, didn't he, a couple of seasons ago? And he's not really done much since. I don't know. You think if someone starts coming to win tournaments, you think maybe they can kick on, but obviously he's come back into form, and he's another very good player.
Why can't Jack Lazowski win a ranking tournament? That's 6th ranking event finals he's been in now. What do you think Jack's problem is?
Playing Judd.
Well, that's true.
That's what you say.
Jack's time will come. I've no doubt that Jack will win a tournament. Might not be soon, but I think he will win one. I've grew up with Jack since we were young kids, playing in the junior tournaments together in Leicester and at Pontins in Prestine. And he's always been a phenomenal player from when he was younger. So it's been great to see him get up into the rankings, into the top 16, because I thought he'd have done it sooner, based on his ability and how good he is. But hopefully now he can build on these finals, and he's got the experience of that, and hopefully he can turn one of them to a win soon.
Well, I think the thing with Jack is he needs to go into a final where he's favourite, because he's played Neil Robertson twice, Mark Selby once, and Judd Trump 3 times. So
I mean, some finals you'd say probably don't come much harder than that, do they? So it probably would be nice for him to play, as favourite maybe.
Well, I think he could handle it. Yeah,
you would say he's obviously a member of the top 16 now, and he's beat a lot of the top players before now, but just having that little bit of experience in the final of actually winning a piece of silverware may help kick it on again.
I mean, that World Grand Prix final before Christmas, where he was 7-2 down and then just exploded for 4 frames, was superb stuff. That was probably the best snooker he's ever played.
Well, you probably just go into stuff it mode, 7-2 down, I've got nothing to lose here now, and maybe just relax a little bit and just start chucking your arm at a couple, and a couple of them have gone in, and you've got your momentum going to build confidence, and before you know it, you've reeled off 5 frames in about half an hour.
Yeah. Well, I think Mike's got some snap question for you. Quick blast of some questions.
Just, non-snooker related. So, what's the best movie of all time?
Best movie of all time?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
God, you're on the spot now. That's a tough one. I don't know. Saving Private Ryan's up there for me.
Okay. Favorite vacation country?
Ooh, Singapore.
Oh, that's a good answer. I like that. Your go-to beer brand?
Oh, yeah. I've got a Corona on the wall.
Okay.
No coronavirus plugs. It's famous enough.
If you had a Canadian dollar to bet on a world championship winner this year, who would it be?
Judd.
Judd. Okay. And always, what is the funniest joke you've ever heard? Please tell us.
Funniest joke?
Yeah,
Keep it clean.
we're a community as well, so we love jokes.
Oh, I joke. I don't know. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, and it probably wouldn't be safe to put on here anyway. So I'll have to come back to you on that one.
Right.
Yeah.
And just one more thing that Scott was talking about was the Dennis Taylor rim glasses that he used to play with. The sort of Dennis Taylor style.
Yeah, they're beautiful, aren't they?
They are. Have you still got them?
Yeah, they've still got them. They're in my glasses case in the cupboard here somewhere, I think. Yeah, I say I've wore them since I was 14, I think I was. I've always had just weak eyesight in my left eye.
Same as me, actually. I'm blind in one eye.
Yeah, I think it's like -2.75 or something like that. So it's not horrendous, but if I cover my right eye up, I couldn't read what's on the screen in front of me now.
That's pretty much like me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just playing in the club with my granddad when I was younger. I noticed that if I was playing any like thin safeties, I was tending to miss them only ever so slightly, but I was struggling to make the thin shots. So I just thought I'll give the glasses a go because I've had them for schoolwork and things like that.
Yeah.
So I thought just give them a try, and then I've not looked back since, obviously. So yeah, I've been wearing them for the best part of 18 years now, I think.
Well, I hope to see you back on the tour soon.
Yeah.
Gareth, I hope to see you back on
I'm not sure about that. I might be staying in retirement for a bit longer.
Cool, man. Thank you very much for coming on and spending some time with us.
Not a problem.
Thanks, Gareth. That was
All the best.
very good to see you.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, and you can just if you just leave, that's cool. There we go.
Wow.
Gareth Allen, thank you very much, Scott and Mike, for conducting your questions with him as well.
Yeah.
It was a great experience for sure.
That was cool. Okay, so anything else to cover before we go?
Prediction League.
Oh, Prediction League, of course. So are we going back to 0 on it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
add the 2 points that we all got for choosing Judd last night.
okay, so you finished, Scott. I finished with 53 points.
Yeah.
Mike, you finished with 69. And Scott, 112.
Wow.
You are the winner, sir. Well done.
Thank you very much, gents.
Wait till the World Championships, Mike. We'll get him back. We're going
to come back big time.
Cheers, guys. See you tomorrow.
Well do, yes. Indeed.
6 o'clock.